Hey, happy Thursday. Hi, I'm Lynn, and today I am going over again some of the steps that it takes to build your own home, whether you are seeking a construction perm loan or if you are building this cash out of your own pay. So in the previous video, I had gone over the importance of looking at your expenses and kind of eliminating extra things that aren't necessary. When you're building a house, it's such a large project that you may want to go ahead and cut out as much as you can out of your expenses. And the way my husband and I built it, we built it out of the funds we had coming in. So it was very important for us to keep our costs low so that we would be able to apply more to getting the house done quicker. And then the bottom fell out and the economy crashed. And yeah, so it took us a little longer than expected. But I have an expense sheet that I kept up with throughout our entirety of building a home. And I'm going to use it as my guide through these videos. Okay, so we went over in the last video, I went over going through your expenses, cutting costs, pre-planning. Okay, very important. You have to be 100% committed to this if you're going to do it. You don't want to get stuck halfway and not be able to finish the job. So, pre-planning. Now you can go and look at different house plans. If you have one already picked out that you like, or if you've sketched one out, that is great. My thing that I was doing while we were working on our expenses is I was looking at different home plans, what is that? Southern. Anyway, so I looked at different home plans. I looked through several home magazines, and gosh, whenever I see something that jumped out at me, I would consider it, if I could incorporate this in our house. And anyway, when it came right down to it, I tried to make it fun. I didn't want to get stressed out in this. And I knew it was going to be a long journey. So I just went with some of the features that I just loved the most and was able to incorporate a few things into our home. I drew out, I had looked at some house plans, and I can't remember if I tore it out of a book and redrew it. Anyway, so there's a certain rule. You can use a house plan that you see. There's this copyright thing. But when you go to your engineer to draw up your preliminary plans, you're going to need to change at least five things in this, okay, to make it legal. So just remember that. So if you see a house plan that you absolutely love, just start changing things. Do it in pencil so you can draw it out, whatever, and change. Okay. So now you have your land picked out, whether you own the land outright, or if you are financing a piece of property. My husband and I, we knew someone that had some land for sale, and they agreed to do owner financing with us so we could build something. And so we paid them the down payment that they required. We had our contract, so the land was ours, and we were able to have that. So when we got ready to pull our permits, we had no problems with that because the land was now in our name with closing. Okay, so we have our finances in check. We have an idea of our house plan, and we have our property in place. So now you're going to need to see who is going to help you draw your plans, your house plans. Okay, schedule an appointment with them. You're going to need preliminaries. So you sit down with them and you draw this house out, and they will help you, because it's going to be different if you have a wood house versus a block home. That's going to be a different measurement in the wall structure. So all of those things they have to factor in. But you're going to need preliminary plans. You will also need a site plan, okay? It's almost like a preliminary of where your house is going to go, and you need to know where your well is going to go and your septic, if you have those, and whatever other things are on your property. Let me see if I have a picture. Okay, so I actually have a picture of our site plan. Now you can use what I was saying. You can just take a copy, if you have several copies of your survey, you can just take your survey and draw in on it with pencil. But here's ours. It's just, piece of printer paper. We kind of just drew it out. You can see here is our little bitty house. It looks tiny on our land. This was a pond that we had. And this is our lift pump for our septic. And that is the huge drain field. And let me tell you, it was huge. But in this picture, it looks as big as our house, but it probably was. I'm not lying. Okay, but the importance of this is they want to know where your septic is going to be and how the distance, like the distance from a neighbor's well, and from the house that their septic's going to be. And like there was on our pond, we tried to get a delineation, but they, Swift Mud, they liked the pond there, so they didn't want us messing with it. But so they had created a setback around this pond, so we had to be a certain distance, which it wasn't like that. It was like 5 feet off of that pond, and they just kind of wanted to know how far the house was going to sit back off of the easements or the county road, because on every piece of property you have setbacks. So you can see here we got close, but that's where we wanted it. I think we were like 15 feet off, 15 or 20 feet. Gosh, I need glasses. My glasses are in my purse. So anyway, I think the requirement was 15 feet. So you will definitely need to check your setbacks. But this was our site plan. Okay, so after you will need to, get your preliminaries, do your site plan. You will also need to, we use this expense sheet as my guide. I don't want to jump ahead of myself neither. So you are going to need to visit your code enforcement, your county building, whatever, and apply for your building code, your building permit, excuse me. So they're going to need to see that site plan. They're going to need to see your preliminary plans, okay? When you're there, you're going to also need to fill out a notice of commencement. So grab you one of these forms. It does have to be filled out and notarized, as you can see. Your permits. I wouldn't suggest getting all of your permits. I think this was, I'm not sure if this was the original permit, but, oh no, this is for the plumbing. But I would start with the building permit. Don't get all your permits at once because they expire, okay? Just keep that in mind. Just get what you need when you need it. Okay, start with your building permit, notice of commencement, get your approval on your preliminary plans and your site plans, okay? You will then need to get back with your engineer, get your final blueprints drawn up, because you have to get the preliminaries approved first, and then you go get your blueprints, and they have to be stamped, engineer stamp. So just going over a couple things, a couple of expenses. The preliminary plans for us back then in 06 now was cost us $150. The blueprints were $701.40, so $701 for the blueprints. The engineer stamp was $250 as a separate person that does that. So same office, but okay. The site plan was, I got some assistance with that, was $75 for us. You will also need, and I'm trying to remember at what point, because I I do have it written in here, but I put survey, but I didn't put tie-in survey. So it did come later, but you will also need a tie-in survey after you get your blueprints done, get your building permit. You're going to need that tie-in survey as well, and that's done with the surveyor. And what they do is they take this and they put that house on there exactly where it's going to go in your septic and your well, okay? And they put those measurements in there. So it's called a tie-in survey. So I just want to tell you also, when you go to your code man, your building and zoning department to apply for your building permit, and you have your preliminaries, you have your site plan, you will get a building, when you apply for your building permit, you will get a number, and you can ask for this sheet. It is, see all these, it's too much and it's backwards, but they gave us this list of all of the inspections with the inspection numbers and the permits that we would have to pull. So we had that as a guide that we were able to plan for using this. So, okay, so right now we have set up basically our budget. We have gone through and done our finances. We have found our piece of property and acquired that whichever way. We have drawn out a site plan where our well's going to go, our septic, our house, any other structures on the property have to be in this site plan. Okay, we've gone to an engineer and had them draw out our preliminaries, and we have gone to see the building and zoning. We've applied for our building permit. We have gone and got our approval on our preliminaries. That's the reason we got our other, let me see, our blueprints and our engineer stamp. Also, you will need to, it seems like it's way in advance, but you're going to need to know who is going to do your trusses, okay? You will have to get a separate truss print, like blueprints from a truss company, okay? Something totally separate. So, it sounds like it's a lot, but it's just getting there's so many different things, it's just getting set up. And I'll just tell you, there's a lot of little stuff that you don't see, and you don't need to get overwhelmed with it. But these cheat sheets, if you can grab along the way, they help so much, okay? So get what you can. Don't buy your permits in advance, only get the ones you need because they expire. A couple things to keep in mind is when you do have a permit and you need an inspection, you're working on a project, you need at least one inspection every 6 months to not lose your permits. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're planning your next project and looking at your inspection sheet to know what inspection is next, okay? Very important. Otherwise, I mean, you just have to go and pay the money again and redo your permit. So, kind of sucks. We never had to do that. We always had an inspection coming. So, it was really great with there being two of us because he was able to do the building side, keep up with who was going to do the projects, whether it would be us or if we were going to hire it out. And then I was able to do like the money, the paying for different things that we needed, going to the building and zoning department, buying the permits and all of the paperwork, stuff like the blueprints and things like that. So I was able to do all that. So if you have two people doing this, it's really great. then you can split the tasks that are at hand. So, okay, so we have our land. We're getting our preliminary plans. We are doing our site plan. We are getting our building permit and notice of commencement. We will go back after our preliminary plans are approved, and we will get our final blueprints and our truss blueprints and get those stamped with the engineer. Okay, so these are the top tasks at hand to be, to get started in this journey. Next, we will cover our electricity and go from there. So if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out and ask me, and I will try to help you in any way that I can. And stay tuned for our next video, and we will go into what is next in your journey. So try to make it fun. Don't get stressed out or overwhelmed. It can be fun or it can be stressful. So you choose, and have a blessed day.